Men are born with a higher level of testosterone, which provides us with a greater level of aggression compared to women. However, when we mention male aggression or male dominance, the first things that come to mind are often undesirable and unattractive qualities that society imposes on us. Things like anger, hatred, violence, and destruction. The truth is, we live in an overly feminized world. Nowadays, women can support themselves independently, and society no longer requires strong men as it did in the times of hunting, wars, and conflicts, where aggression and raw physical strength were crucial. Because of this, the social narrative instills in us from a very young age that male aggression should only be viewed negatively. But is this really the case? Let's explore this idea further. But first, if you want to progress, show your support by hitting like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, drop them in comments, and let's talk. Modern men have become so deeply influenced by the feminized agenda that they begin to suppress any form of natural male aggression within themselves. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and start fights or cause destruction. That is not the expression of aggression of a high-value man, but mere foolishness and lack of self-control. What I want you to understand is that we have been deceived, and society is actively trying to change us. We've been made to believe that being soft and compassionate is the only way to succeed in this world. They've convinced us that submission is capable of defeating evil, no matter the situation. While it is important for a man to love, to be self-controlled, and always to manage his emotions, look around you at the cruelty and evil in this world. Can you really remain silent when the enemy comes into your home and destroys everything you hold dear? Can you remain silent when someone tries to brainwash your child, instilling values that are completely contrary to your own? Should you remain silent and agree when the powers that be act tyrannically, silencing their own people? It's exactly what powers that control this world want, to create a world where no one dares to oppose them, to challenge, or to stand up for their values. The system that feeds this is built on blatant lies, ignorance, and foolishness. Society wants you to endure, to turn the other cheek instead of responding. The social agenda doesn't want strong men. It wants manageable, obedient boys. But I encourage you to use your brain, to make a conscious decision, and to stand your ground no matter what. Our aggression doesn't have to be destructive. It stems from an innate tendency toward growth, conquering new territories, and creating life. The problem is, we pay too much attention to the negative side of aggression. Yes, aggression correlates with anger, but they are not the same thing. Anger is an emotional reaction, whereas aggression is a state of being in which a man can accomplish things he once thought impossible. Aggression is often associated with harm or damage, but what if I told you that alongside this, aggression could be a powerful tool for creation and motivation? How many incredible things have been built thanks to fierce male competition and the drive to surpass others? How many tyrants and oppressive regimes have been overthrown by male bravery and aggression? Without aggression, these things would simply not have been possible. Aggression is absolutely necessary in a man's life. First and foremost, it is essential for survival. It allows us to grow and develop, to stay on the right path, to not falter in the face of challenges, and to overcome the ruthless trials of life. Aggression is also one of the key factors women look for when choosing a man. Women seek men who are capable of standing up for themselves and their families, and aggressive, dominant men do this better than anyone. Of course, self-awareness and critical thinking must first be developed because without them, aggression can indeed become a destructive force. Male aggression can serve as the perfect tool for building a strong and decisive character. Most of us suffer from indecision. This happens when we suppress our male aggression. It prevents us from making decisions to start something new or take on a conquest out of simple fear that will eventually turn into anger and frustration. We will become angry at ourselves for not overcoming this indecision because we fear society's punishment in the form of criticism, judgment, and disdain. In the end, we will be left with frustration, unable to unleash and test our potential by turning our desires into practical actions. Aggression in the context of taking initiative is about imposing our will on every thought we entertain and every action we take. Courage, decisiveness, meticulousness, straightforwardness, and resourcefulness are the qualities cultivated through aggression. When you take initiative, you become the master of your life. And it's not just about taking on new endeavors. For example, this is equally relevant when planning and going on a simple date with a woman. It must be planned and executed, which requires your masculine initiative. A woman will not handle these questions for you. Aggression also strengthens our ability to establish and defend our masculine boundaries. If someone disrespects you, your loved ones, or consciously tries to humiliate you as a man, what will you do? Will you turn the other cheek, or will you remember that you are a man? When it comes to strangers, it's much easier for us to decide to defend our boundaries. But what if the person challenging you is your friend? What will you do if your friend tries to elevate himself by humiliating you in front of others? In these situations, we experience a specific feeling of guilt and discomfort. We are afraid of hurting the other person's feelings or offending them. We are ready to endure it and make jokes to avoid ruining the relationship. But if this behavior goes unpunished, it sends a signal to others that you can be disrespected without consequences, and nothing will change in the future. This fear comes from our apprehension of escalating conflict and the potential consequences of losing that conflict. However, it's not about resorting to physical violence. Often, a few words are enough. You need to make the person who disrespects you feel uncomfortable. If the person who insults you feels awkward after doing so, they will stop doing it altogether. In this case, aggression acts as a signal that someone is violating your boundaries, and you need to push back. If you can't stand up for yourself, people will inevitably stay around you for one reason only: to elevate themselves by lowering you. They will see you as a convenient stepping stone, someone whose silence and compliance enable their ego to grow unchecked. Be the obedient, soft-spoken man society demands, and you might receive shallow praises for being a nice guy. There is a separate video on this topic on the channel. They might even tell you that you're doing things right by always keeping the peace. But know this: true respect cannot be bought through compliance. Respect, real respect, is only earned when you assert yourself, when you prove that your boundaries are not to be crossed. The moment you decide to speak up, to say no more, is the very moment the system will recognize you as a threat. And it will do everything in its power to suppress you, to silence you, to bring you back into line. But here's the thing: you must not surrender. You must not let this pressure break your will. The social agenda thrives on men who allow themselves to be controlled, manipulated, and oppressed. But the moment you let people trample over you without standing up for your rights, you become a target. You become a man without strength, a man who others will exploit for their gain. Don't think for a second that those around you will stop. No, they will keep coming, pushing your boundaries further and further until you have nothing left. They will continue to challenge your manhood, your dignity, and your very soul, and they will do so without hesitation. The moment you give them an inch, they will take a mile, and they will not stop until they have full control over your actions, your thoughts, and your will. This is why it is absolutely essential to embrace your aggression. Yes, the very thing society has told you to suppress for so long is what you need to defend yourself, to reclaim your power, and to establish your place in this world. Aggression, when used correctly, is not about violence or chaos. It is about standing firm, asserting your presence, and making it known that you will not be moved by anyone's attempts to undermine you. When someone disrespects you, aggression is the fuel that pushes you to say enough. It gives you the strength to push back and defend your boundaries. There is a way to channel that aggression constructively. Learn to embrace it, not as a destructive force, but as a tool of creation and growth. Aggression, when harnessed properly, will push you to conquer new challenges, to set higher goals, and to defend what is rightfully yours. It is the driving force that has led men throughout history to build empires, fight for freedom, and create legacies that stand the test of time. Do not shy away from what makes you a man. Your aggression, your drive, your willingness to stand firm in the face of adversity. These are the qualities that will earn you respect, both from yourself and from others. These are the qualities that will make you a leader, a protector, and someone who commands attention and admiration. Remember, the world will always try to mold you into something more manageable and more controllable. It will try to strip you of your aggression, your confidence, and your assertiveness, because a man without these qualities is easy to control. But if you refuse to be shaped by society's expectations, if you embrace your true nature as a man, you will rise above the mediocrity that society wants for you. You will stand tall, unyielding in your principles, and unstoppable in your pursuit of a life that is truly your own. Subscribe and share your journey with us. Until next time.